So AI sucks, but this uses only my work and years of it. And so, right, so if we look at my screen here, actually, let me scroll down. This is so that I don't get totally off track here. Basically, I've got the spreadsheet here. Every one of these is a question that I've already answered. I've trapped all of my answers inside a CC machine. Because basically, the problem I'm having, I think that everyone has, right? So like in our case, we have communities, we sell things, and people have questions about those two things. And so, just to give you an example here, you can see that these are some questions. These are actually, I have 197 records here just to start, where people have asked a question and then I've answered. And I started recording it on a spreadsheet because I was like, I feel like I did a really good job articulating this like really detailed answer to this one problem. And right, it's for our specific ideal client, and it's a solution that like very few people are specifically answering. And I'm like, this is valuable information, but it's like I'm only able to give it to that one person. And then that question comes up again. I'm like, even though I've answered 10 times, right, it takes time and thoughtfulness to like answer it again well. So I started putting all on a spreadsheet because I'm thinking like, well, that way I can just reference this, I can copy and paste it in, and then I can, tweak it a little bit depending on their specific situation here. Now, if someone's revving a chainsaw, so let me close this. And so my point is that I just started capturing that. The other thing too is we have like years of course videos that like explain such advanced stuff, and people ask these questions, and I'm like, we have these answers somewhere. So I did the same thing, which is what I took all the information out and I put it into this machine. Now, this is a little bit more advanced than a spreadsheet now, which we'll go into here in a second. But essentially, I built a machine to query all this stuff that we have generated over the years that like you can't, right? So that, like this is the difference. I hate AI is like, I'm jumping ahead about how much I hate. I think everyone hates AI like slop garbage. It's like people go through stages of like the novelty of like, wow, this is really cool because like, yes, something like world changing has happened, but that doesn't mean that it's actually working. I think is right. We see the potential, but it's people are using it in a way that's just making everything worse, which is a good opportunity for us people who understand the fundamentals with or without the tool. Anyway, this all matters because I am going to build this machine that's going to help. I believe it can help people 10 times faster, 10 times easier, at least do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now. And then also, or for our team to just have like, we've created all the knowledge and more people could be helped, but it's just limited by being a human being, which is like, I have to sleep and like eat and like do other stuff. And if only robots could help me a little bit here. So that's what this is. Now, the next stage of this is that I wrote a tool that, I mean, this is like, I forgot what they call it. It's like, basically, the past couple years, a very simple thing is like you can take data like a spreadsheet, and then you can do what is called like vectorizing the data, well, chunking it up and vectorizing it. So like, for example, you can see this is like the 16th chunk of some like probably very detailed answer that I made to somebody. And so that way it can be queried easier. And the other thing is that you've done some fancy math here where it's called embedding or vectorization, where it takes the stuff here and it turns it into a number. And then long story short, you're basically encoding the meaning of that text, right? That's kind of one of the things that makes all AI work. But what I think is really interesting about it is that you can, you could look, there's a million videos on this on YouTube, but like one of the first things I saw was they did like France minus Paris or something. And then they got like, the capital of, I don't know, what did they do? They basically were using words and they were like adding and subtracting. So it was like, they would take like, like Hitler plus Germany is equivalent to like France, and then it would pull like whatever dictator from that country. I'll explain this horribly. Doesn't matter. My point is, this isn't a history lesson. I think it's really interesting that you can embed meaning, more or less. Like this is what, like back in like 2012, Spotify suddenly became really good at like, it felt like it knew you. Like, oh, it really was good at serving up music that it knew you would like, because it was able, they did the same thing where they encoded, they're like, oh, all these, they're like, these songs, people that like these songs will like these songs, essentially. The same way you could do that with words, where you take like Germany and Hitler, and then you could go and you could be like Italy, and then it would find, you know, basically Mussolini, right? So it's like we can encode meaning with words or whatever media, and so that's really cool. So that's what we're doing here, which is like we're taking all these answers, we're breaking them into chunks, we're vectorizing them, and now it's really easy for it to query. Like back in the day, Google would like do some keyword search shit, and I don't even know how that works, but it seems horrible compared to this, because you can send a query, it'll encode the query. I could be like, how do you do whatever? And then it's going to find all the chunks that are like semantically similar, and you can pull a certain number of it. Then you feed the chunks that are semantically similar to the question to like a large language model, and then it can reason about that or whatever and come up with a perfect answer now to a query. That's what that's what this is. I don't know why I made that so horribly explained, but anyway, let me show you this real quick, and then I'll show you why this, you know, is important to you and to everyone. So we could take like, let's take one of these person's questions. I'm not even gonna read it. I'll read it when I mean, the point of this tool is to not just, again, right? It's we're not trying to make AI answers and like put it into ChatGPT and let it spit out some like generic garbage slop. This is going to take, I've answered all these questions a million times, and we have 1 million pounds, like literally like hundreds of hours of videos on these topics. And so I know it's got something useful. We've said something useful about this. And so it's going to, or maybe we haven't, right? And if we haven't, then I'm going to answer it manually, and then I'm going to take that and add it to the database. And over time, it's going to get smarter and smarter. So I'm just going to paste that in there. Well, let's read it. I've dived into blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Good launch strategy for our gold prospecting course. That's another thing this is going to do under the surface. It's going to take this and create like the standalone question, where it's just like, what's the pure question here, which is like, I have a gold prospecting course. Do we soft launch it or make it the course available here in Australia first? So this is good. This is like a even more specific. So I might not have the perfect, this probably won't have the perfect answer from the content that I already have, because maybe I've only answered this for Germany or something, right? So like, we'll get an answer back, and then I'll probably edit it and I'll feed it back in, and it's going to make the whole system smarter. So do we do a soft launch? Right. So yeah, it's like, should we do this worldwide? Should we do an Aussie? My professional opinion is, it just depends, right? Like, if you have a monopoly in the Aussie market, you just stick there. If the US has done 1 million courses on it, but otherwise, maybe the US has way more customers, and then maybe you want to think about selling worldwide and selling USD. I don't know, right? So that's probably something like along the lines of what I would say. And so now we can see that it's going to search all that crap I showed you on the screen, and see, it's pulled 8 of those documents, as you know, they refer to it. I call them chunks. I don't know. Short answer. Start with a soft local launch in Australia. Why don't bake a cake, bake an excellent muffin? So this is a really good point that Anthony always makes, which I wasn't considering. Starting small keeps things manageable and gets you moving. Yep, very important. Selling to a small local market. Okay, yeah. So this is actually really good, because it's actually better than the one I just rattled off, because it's going more deep into like, okay, the real thing, right? Because it's not even about asking the right questions. It's not about getting the right answer. It's not about getting answers. It's about asking the right question. And this is realizing like, look, you're almost asking the wrong thing. What you need, the only thing that matters is that you just do anything. And so, because you're going to learn so much from that we can never tell you and that you could never guess, because it's like trying to predict the weather in 3 months. Like there's just too many infinite variables. You can't predict it. And so this is good. This is like this, just launch it. You'll learn, and then you'll start crushing it, or you'll realize maybe I should go do in this other territory, or I should tweak my thing. And so you're going to find the answers by just launching. That's kind of what it's saying here. Gets you cash flow and testimonials fast. So you can refine it, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so this is really good. I might still put some of the stuff I was saying in there. Okay, so I pasted that in, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to preface it first with what I believe this answer is missing. So I'm just going to, and I use Whisper, I just dictate it because it's a million times faster than typing. So I'll say something like, the first question I would have for you is there a reason why this should be launched in Australia? Like, for example, right, if you live in Australia and you understand that market really well and you have a solution that no one else is building there, then you may want to start in the Aussie market. If there's a reason you think that the worldwide market would be better, then you should start there. But if you don't really know it all, I'm going to give you this short answer here. Why I did that. So basically, right, because if I was having a conversation with them, I would need that context to provide a better answer. So I kind of start with that, and then I go into like, here's the stuff that really matters. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You just need to launch it and just start helping anybody. And then you're going to learn so much stuff that the question you're asking is irrelevant. So this is pretty good. And so what I would end up doing now is I would copy this and then copy this answer into my database, and I'd vectorize it again. And now I've got a little bit more context. And then, right, so I'm answering probably the same question in just different ways. And then every time I query it, it's got more to work with, and it can just choose what makes sense based on the query. Okay, and if anyone's watching from the communities, this is like really the first time I've ever been doing this. I've been manually answering things. I don't want anyone to think I'm just like dumping garbage into the group, because also you'd see I'm filtering it, so I'm making sure that I'm not making garbage answers here, and B, because also I want to improve my database. But you can already see how useful this is becoming. Obviously, right, if like you don't have a ton of data, it's like it gets better over time. So it really starts, again, it's like the quality of AI is just the output. It always comes down to what the input is. And so in this case, I mean, that's part of it. The second part would be like, is it using that properly and whatever, but you could see the potential. And so I feel like the next level of this would be, it's just a Chrome integration that's like, would you like me to capture that answer you just made? Right, and just make it easy to, because right now I just copy and paste stuff around. But I think you could build something that would just, then I could be, right, make me superhuman. And then you could have team members that it's like, we're all pooling our intelligence together and help more people way faster. So the lesson of this whole rant is like, I'm not trying to use AI to replace me with garbage. I feel like most people, like the general people, like they go into ChatGPT and it's like the free version, and they like just start like having it try to just do their work for them. And then people are worried about AI replacing them. And it's like, well, just don't, I mean, unless it grows arms and legs and starts killing us all, don't let it, I mean, even then don't let it replace us, but don't let it replace you. You're just letting it replace you. I think that's kind of the thing I'm seeing. I want to use it to augment me and create more valuable stuff. Like I can create more faster. It's about the context. I guess that's the hard part. It's like, how do you get all the context into you? So I think that's kind of what I've started down this path of, like, not even figuring out how to build robots to help me be a better creator, but it's almost like, how do you, I think the way to do that is like, you somehow capture your soul into somewhere that can be accessed easily and right? These different tools can use that in a useful way, which I don't know the best way to do that. This is kind of the what I've started, which is really, really, really crude, but is already I feeling like it's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's something that I'm tinkering with, and if I'd make it any better, I'll keep posting this, or I might just stop doing this entirely. But I feel like I kind of enjoy it, but also I think it's going to help me in the long run. It's like, yeah, because like this is kind of time consuming. It's like Saturday, I could be like laying down. I don't know, whatever. Right? Maybe not laying down. I don't know, doing something besides like stressing out my brain. But I think this is going to make me better at creating stuff. So anyway, those are my thoughts. And I'm realizing I think just even articulating this, there's like nobody watching this. There's like it's like my mom, maybe, probably not even her watching these videos. And I think just the act of me like sharing it, I'm starting to, it's like this is what we teach course creators or whatever, content creators in general, is that when you just start doing it as hard as you can, it starts to become more clear in your brain. Like I'm just talking this out loud, basically alone or into the void. And I'm starting to realize that like the problem to solve really is like capturing your own personal context. So I'm creating tools that are doing that for myself. Because I feel like that's going to make me able to do more of what I do just better and faster instead of being killed by robots. We got to embrace it, especially as artists. Artists, for some reason, are always the first ones to get replaced. It's like when they figured out how to precisely machine things. I went from wood to like precise metal, and you could have like insane levels of precision, and you could just build things really fast. People that made like really nice chairs and really nice tables and really nice whatever, like all of them immediately destroyed. So yeah, I think about that all the time, because also as like a filmmaker, now you can just AI stuff so much better than like it was so hard to shoot stuff. I mean, obviously shooting stuff, AI hasn't fully replaced that, but it's it is kind of getting a little bit sad. Anyway, those are my thoughts. All right, goodbye.